Good morning, children. In our previous class, we had discussed about the various modes of nutrition. So what are the modes of nutrition we have discussed? That is autotrophic and heterotrophic nutrition. Today we'll discuss only autotrophic mode of nutrition. Like we have discussed about the green plants and the bacteria, we are going to see how autotrophic mode of nutrition takes place in green plant. But before that, I would like to add one thing, that is how autotrophic differs from heterotrophic mode of nutrition. So you should know the difference between autotrophic and heterotrophic. So let us quickly write down the points. What are the difference? Here the first point of autotrophic nutrition is that food is synthesized by their own, synthesized by using inorganic materials such as carbon dioxide and water, right? And in heterotrophic, food is obtained directly or indirectly from autotrophs. This is the first point. If in exam you get a question like differentiate between autotrophic and heterotrophic, it can be asked for 2 marks. So you should know at least 4 differentiating points. Now the second point is, like if we talk about green plants, so green pigment called as chlorophyll is necessary for carrying out this kind of nutrition. So green pigment is required. You can write green pigment called chlorophyll. And here pigment is not necessary. Pigment is not required, or you can write chlorophyll is not required, or green pigment is not required. Third point is that this type of nutrition, autotrophic nutrition, generally takes place in presence of light. Therefore, you can say that synthesis of food takes place during day. Whereas heterotrophs, as they are directly or indirectly dependent on autotrophs, it is not necessary that they will obtain food only during day. They can obtain food anytime. They can obtain food in any time of the day. Obtain food any time of day, which means they can obtain food at night as well. Here autotrophs, you know the examples, green plants and some bacteria. And heterotrophs example, you know, that is animals and fungi. Now as I said, today we are going to discuss only autotrophic mode of nutrition. We shall discuss about green plants, how in green plants autotrophic mode of nutrition take place. So we have, as we know, that the requirement of autotrophic mode of nutrition is carbon dioxide, water. What else does green plants need to carry out photosynthesis? So along with carbon dioxide and water, there is sunlight which is required by the green plants for carrying out photosynthesis. This sunlight is trapped by some pigments called as chlorophyll, which are present on the leaves for trapping sunlight. Right now, if we write down in the form of equation, let us write in the form of word equation first. So what are the requirements? Carbon dioxide, water. So chlorophyll is required by the plant for trapping sunlight. Now what happens in this? In this, the sunlight, the sun's energy is trapped by chlorophyll and is converted into a chemical energy, that is glucose. Along with glucose, oxygen is also liberated by plants and water is also full. So this is the word equation of the autotrophic mode of nutrition that takes place in plants. Because this mode of nutrition takes place in presence of sunlight, we also call it as photosynthesis. So green plants do photosynthesis to obtain nutrition. Photo, you know, it means light, and synthesis means to make or to synthesize. Right. Now if we write this equation in the form of chemical formula, so carbon dioxide, you know, is CO2, water H2O, chlorophyll, sunlight, glucose. This glucose is a 6 carbon atom structure. The formula is C6H12O6. Oxygen, you know, is O2 and water is H2O. Now to balance this, 6 molecules of carbon dioxide and 12 molecules of water, they react to form glucose, and 6 molecules of oxygen and 6 molecules of water. Right, children? Now here you should understand that plants synthesize glucose in the process of photosynthesis, but all these steps do not occur immediately. Like, it is not one step reaction, there are steps involved in this. We shall discuss that later on. First let me tell you one thing, that glucose, which is synthesized in the plant body, is utilized for energy, but the excess of glucose which is there in the plant body, like the one which is the amount of glucose which is not required immediately, is stored in the plant body in the form of starch. Similar mechanism occurs in animals also, in human beings, or you can say in human beings, whatever glucose is there, excess, which is obtained by food, converted from the food into simple sugar, that is glucose, the excess amount of glucose in human body is stored in the form of glycogen. Right, children? Now we will discuss what are the steps involved in the process of photosynthesis. So I'll write it over here. What are the steps? As I said, it will not take place all together. So there will be some steps by which food will be synthesized, or by which this light energy which is trapped by chlorophyll will be converted into chemical energy. So in the first step, what happens? First step is absorption of light energy. And who absorbs light energy? Light is absorbed by chlorophyll. Once this light energy is absorbed, the second thing what happens in the plant body is splitting of this water molecule. Now here it is very important to note that the oxygen which we get at the end of photosynthesis is obtained from splitting of water molecule. You should not get confused. You should not think that carbon dioxide, since also has oxygen in it, that oxygen liberated in the photosynthesis is obtained from carbon dioxide. No, it is obtained by splitting of water molecule. So after light energy is absorbed, water molecule gets split into hydrogen and oxygen. And the third step in this is, see, we have discussed that water splits into oxygen molecule. How is this glucose obtained? This glucose is obtained by reduction of carbon dioxide. So the third step is reduction of carbon dioxide to form glucose. Reduction of carbon dioxide to form glucose. So these are the steps involved in the process of photosynthesis. Let us quickly revise the difference between the autotrophic mode of nutrition and heterotrophic mode of nutrition. We have listed, we have also done this in the notebook. So learn this differentiation points. Now, autotrophic mode of nutrition in green plants is called as photosynthesis, as it takes place in presence of light. The requirements for photosynthesis is carbon dioxide, water, sunlight, chlorophyll. Carbon dioxide, you know, is trapped from atmosphere. Water is obtained from roots. Chlorophyll pigment is present on the leaves, which traps sunlight, and this light energy is then converted into chemical energy, which is glucose. Oxygen is liberated in this process and water is also formed. This is the chemical equation by which you can represent photosynthesis. The excess of glucose which is present in the plant body is converted into starch and stored. Similarly, in human, the excess of glucose which is there is converted into glycogen and stored. Steps which are involved in photosynthesis, because it is an entire process, so it doesn't take place all together. It occurs in stepwise manner. The first step is absorption of light energy by chlorophyll, and because of absorption of light energy, water molecule gets split into hydrogen and oxygen, and then reduction of carbon dioxide takes place and glucose molecule is formed. So these are the steps, or these are the processes which occur in green plants during photosynthesis. Now, how and where do they take place, we'll discuss in our next class.